Hello and welcome to G Fun Facts Online, where we dive deep into the science behind the world around us. Let's jump right in with a question that seems simple on the surface, but has incredibly complex answers. Why do women, on average, live longer than men? You see this pattern everywhere. Across nearly every country and culture on Earth, demographic data shows a consistent female survival advantage. Now, you might immediately think of lifestyle differences. For a long time, that was the primary explanation. Things like higher rates of smoking, alcohol consumption, and general risk-taking behaviors among men. And those factors absolutely play a role, but they are not the root cause. A huge and growing body of scientific evidence reveals that the true origins of this longevity gap are much deeper, tangled up in the very fabric of our evolutionary history. This isn't just a human thing either. It's a widespread pattern seen across the animal kingdom, from mammals to birds, which tells us that powerful, ancient evolutionary forces have shaped the sexes to age at different rates. So today, we're going on an evolutionary detective story to find out why. To understand why males and females age differently, we first have to understand why we age at all. One of the leading theories is called the disposable soma theory of aging. It sounds complicated, but the idea is simple. The soma refers to all the non-reproductive cells of your body, your muscles, your bones, your brain. The theory proposes that every organism has a finite amount of energy, and it has to make a choice about how to spend it. Should it invest that energy in building and maintaining a perfect, long-lasting body? Or should it invest that energy in the ultimate evolutionary goal, reproduction, passing on its genes to the next generation? Evolution, being ruthlessly efficient, prioritizes reproduction. It favors spending just enough energy on bodily maintenance to keep the organism alive long enough to reproduce successfully. After that, from a strictly genetic perspective, the body becomes, well, disposable. Think of your body as a car designed to get your genes, the passengers, to their destination, which is the next generation. The car doesn't need to be built to last forever, just long enough to complete the journey. The crucial part of this theory for our question today is that the optimal balance between reproducing and repairing is not the same for males and females. Their different reproductive roles and the pressures of sexual selection have pushed them to strike very different bargains with nature. So let's look at the male side of this bargain first. Charles Darwin introduced a concept that is absolutely key here: sexual selection. This is evolution shaped not by survival of the fittest, but by competition for mates. In many species, especially those with polygamous mating systems where a few males can mate with many females, the competition among males is incredibly intense. This intense rivalry drives the evolution of what scientists call costly characteristics. These are traits that give a male a mating advantage, even if they are literally bad for his long-term health. We see this all over the animal kingdom. The enormous antlers on a stag, the brilliantly colored heavy tail of a peacock, or simply a larger, more muscular body built for fighting off rivals. These traits, while impressive, come with a significant price tag. They require enormous amounts of energy to grow and maintain. That's energy that is being diverted away from vital bodily functions, like a robust immune system or efficient cellular repair mechanisms. The behaviors associated with this competition, fighting for territory, performing risky courtship displays, also dramatically increase the chances of injury, chronic stress, and ultimately, an early death. This isn't just theoretical. A major UK biobank study provided strong evidence for this trade-off in humans, finding that genetically higher testosterone levels, the very hormone driving many of these traits, were associated with poorer survival in men. For these males, the evolutionary calculation is clear. A short, intense reproductive life where you sire many offspring is a better strategy than a long, peaceful life with few or no mating opportunities. It's a classic live fast, die young strategy, baked in by sexual selection, and we now have massive amounts of data to back this up. A comprehensive 2025 study from the Max Planck Institute for Evolutionary Anthropology analyzed over 1,000 species of mammals and birds. The results were stark. In polygamous mammal species with strong male-on-male competition, the males consistently die earlier than the females. In contrast, the evolutionary pressures on females often favor a completely different strategy. In the vast majority of mammal species, females bear the primary, and often sole, responsibility for parental care. They are the ones who make the enormous biological investment in gestation, lactation, and then nurturing and protecting the offspring until they are independent. From an evolutionary perspective, a female's reproductive success is not just about the number of offspring she produces, but about how many of those offspring survive to reproductive age themselves. This long-term, high-stakes investment places an enormous premium on female survival. A mother who dies early might lose her entire genetic investment. This creates a strong selective advantage for females who can live long enough to see their young become independent. In some long-lived social species like humans and elephants, this extends even further into what's known as the grandmother hypothesis, the idea that older, post-reproductive females can still increase their genetic legacy by helping their children raise the next generation. This evolutionary pressure to stay alive for the kids has likely been a powerful force, driving the evolution of more robust bodies, more efficient repair mechanisms, and slower rates of aging in females. The same huge cross-species study from Max Planck that highlighted the cost of male competition also found a direct link here. The sex that invests more in raising offspring tends to live longer. In the world of mammals, that is almost always the female. These different evolutionary strategies are not just abstract concepts, they are reflected in our very genetic blueprint. As most of us learn in biology class, humans have sex chromosomes that determine biological sex. Females possess two X chromosomes, or XX, while males have one X and one Y, or XY. This seemingly small difference has profound implications for health and longevity. The X chromosome is a genetic powerhouse. It's a large chromosome containing over 1,000 genes, many of which are essential for a wide range of functions, including brain development and, crucially, immune response. The Y chromosome, by contrast, is a bit of a genetic lightweight. It's much smaller and carries very few genes, most of which are just related to male-specific traits, like sperm production. This asymmetry creates what scientists call the unguarded X hypothesis. Here's how it works. In females, who have two X chromosomes, if a harmful recessive mutation occurs on one of them, the healthy allele or gene on the other X chromosome can often compensate and mask the defect. This creates a powerful biological backup system. Males, with their single X chromosome, have no such backup. Any recessive mutation on their X chromosome will be expressed, leaving them far more vulnerable to a host of X-linked diseases and disorders. A classic laboratory example is found in scurfy mice. A mutation on their X chromosome causes a severe autoimmune disease and early death in males. But the female carriers, who have the same mutation on one X, remain perfectly healthy because their second healthy X chromosome provides the necessary correct DNA. This genetic redundancy in females is believed to contribute significantly to their greater resilience and longevity. A clever 2018 study demonstrated this perfectly by creating mice with different combinations of chromosomes and gonads. The results were unambiguous. Mice with two X chromosomes, whether they had ovaries or testes, lived longer than mice with XY chromosomes. The second X itself was the key to a longer life. The unguarded X is actually part of a broader, even more powerful idea called the heterogametic sex hypothesis. This theory proposes that across the animal kingdom, the sex with two different sex chromosomes is at a fundamental survival disadvantage. In mammals, that's the XY male, making him the heterogametic sex. The sex with two identical sex chromosomes, The homogametic sex, like the XX female, has the advantage. If this theory is true, we should be able to find a situation where the roles are reversed and see if the longevity pattern flips. And we can, in the avian world. In birds, the sex chromosome system is the opposite of ours. Males are the homogametic sex, with 2 Z chromosomes, or ZZ. Females are the heterogametic sex, with 1 Z and 1 W chromosome, or ZW. And, consistent with the hypothesis, studies show that in the majority of bird species, it is the males that tend to live longer than the females. Remember that 2025 Max Planck study? It found that while female mammals lived, on average, 13% longer than males, male birds outlived females by about 5%. This perfect reversal across major taxonomic classes provides compelling support for the idea that having 2 of the same sex chromosome confers a basic, built-in survival advantage. So we have evolutionary strategies and we have chromosomal advantages. But there's another, more subtle, genetic story unfolding inside our cells. It takes place in our mitochondria, the tiny powerhouses responsible for generating almost all of our cellular energy. What's fascinating is that mitochondria have their own small set of DNA, called mtDNA, completely separate from the DNA in our cell's nucleus. And crucially, this mitochondrial DNA is inherited almost exclusively from the mother. The father's mitochondria, located in the tail of the sperm, are typically destroyed upon fertilization. This purely maternal inheritance has a strange and potentially detrimental consequence for males, a phenomenon with a dramatic name, the mother's curse. Because mtDNA is only passed down through the female line, natural selection can only see and act upon mitochondrial mutations as they affect females. So imagine a mutation in the mtDNA that is harmful to males. Maybe it slightly impairs their energy production or fertility, but it has zero effect on females. Because females transmit it without any negative consequence to themselves, that mutation will be invisible to selective pressure. It will be passed down from mother to son, generation after generation, potentially accumulating in the population. Over vast evolutionary timescales, this can lead to a buildup of mtDNA mutations that are specifically bad for males. Evidence has been found in species like fruit flies, where certain mtDNA variants can reliably predict the lifespan of males, but not females. In humans, some researchers have linked the mother's curse to conditions like a specific form of vision loss that affects men far more frequently. While the debate continues on how large its overall contribution is to the longevity gap, it remains a compelling evolutionary mechanism that could be contributing to male-specific aging. All of these evolutionary strategies are ultimately put into motion by our distinct hormonal landscapes. The primary sex hormones, testosterone in males and estrogen in females, have profound and often opposing effects on health. Let's start with testosterone. It's the hormone that drives many of the male traits favored by sexual selection: increased muscle mass, aggression, a high sex drive. It fuels reproductive success. But this powerful hormone is a double-edged sword. High levels of testosterone are associated with a trade-off. It can suppress the immune system, making men more susceptible to infections. It's also been linked to increased risk of cardiovascular disease, partly by increasing the tendency for blood to clot, which can lead to heart attacks and strokes. The evidence for this trade-off is fascinating. For instance, historical studies of Korean eunuchs from the Joseon dynasty, who were castrated and therefore had very low testosterone, revealed that they lived significantly longer, by as much as 14 to 19 years, than uncastrated men of similar social standing. A more modern 2021 study confirmed a causal link, showing that genetically predicted higher testosterone leads to poorer survival. Now, in stark contrast, estrogen, the primary female sex hormone, appears to be a health protector. Estrogen has well-documented beneficial effects on the cardiovascular system. It helps maintain the flexibility of blood vessels, has anti-inflammatory properties, and even acts as an antioxidant, cleaning up damaging molecules in our cells. This helps explain why premenopausal women have a significantly lower risk of heart disease compared to men of the same age. But this protective shield isn't permanent. After menopause, when a woman's estrogen levels plummet, her risk for cardiovascular disease rises dramatically, eventually equaling that of men. This sharp change strongly suggests that the hormonal advantage enjoyed by women for much of their lives plays a key role in their overall longevity. So we've laid out a powerful case for deep biological and evolutionary factors. But we can't ignore the world we live in. These factors don't tell the whole story. For much of human history, the longevity gap was small, or in some cases, non-existent. It was only around the late 19th and early 20th centuries that the significant female survival advantage we see today really began to emerge in developed countries. This shift happened alongside major advances in medicine and public health that dramatically reduced deaths from infectious diseases and, importantly, childbirth. Historically, two major killers of young women. As these causes of death declined, the impact of chronic, age-related diseases like heart disease and cancer, which tend to affect men more and at an earlier age, became much more prominent in the statistics, widening the longevity gap. Then, behavioral patterns in the 20th century, like much higher rates of smoking among men, exacerbated this trend even further. But just as the environment widened the gap, it can also narrow it. In recent years, the gap has started to shrink in some countries. This is partly because women have, unfortunately, adopted some of the same risky behaviors as men, like smoking, and are increasingly exposed to similar levels of workplace stress. This all demonstrates that while biology may set the stage, our environment and our choices direct the play. To bring it all home, the answer to why do women live longer than men is not a single, simple explanation. It's a rich tapestry woven from multiple threads of evolutionary theory. It's the disposable soma theory and the fundamental trade-off between reproduction and maintenance. It's sexual selection pushing the high-cost, live fast, die young male strategy, countered by parental investment pushing the long-game strategy for females. It's the concrete biological advantages like the unguarded backup X chromosome, the potential betrayal of the mother's curse from our mitochondria, and the profoundly different effects of our sex hormones. While modern life can and does alter this ancient pattern, the deep-seated evolutionary and biological differences between the sexes make it unlikely to ever vanish entirely. The longevity gap is, and will likely remain, a profound reminder that we are all products of a long and complex evolutionary journey. It's a legacy written in our chromosomes, our cells, and our very hormones, a testament to the different paths natural selection has forged for males and females in the enduring quest to pass life on to the next generation. Thank you for tuning in to Fun Facts Online.